inside the four walls. So they understand they need buildings in these communities and that they need staff, but we really wanted to help paint that picture of what's going on inside those four walls. So as we mentioned earlier, we've received some great feedback from communities that we've been putting the calculator to use. Over the course of the next few months, we're using this time as a soft launch opportunity to gather feedback from communities, and we'll make some adjustments as necessary. And we're really excited about the official launch of this in the fall. So yeah, we're here to answer any questions you might have or any feedback that you might want to provide. We're just really excited to be able to help communities meet their needs.
Terrific. Well, thank you both so much. I'm really excited about this, and I would imagine that others might be as well. So I'm curious, panel members, what questions or ideas do we have, and how might we be able to use this in our work?
This is Hannah McGahee. I will say that I am horrifically impressed. This is wonderful. You all have thought of so many nuances and things to capture, and just the fact that even within the ratio portion, a person would be able to calculate and not have to flip back and forth between multiple resources, I think is fantastic. This is just really, really great. So thank you to you and your team for putting this together. I can see this being very helpful for new providers, as well as, providers who have been in the game for a long time.
Thank you, Hannah. We have a great team here at Child Care of Kansas who put a lot of brains together. So thank you.
And this is Amanda Peterson, Tanya and Laura. I see lots of smiles and nods and applause in the chat, or in the screen. I know that sometimes sharing screen, it can be hard to see that. My question, I think, so you're soft launching this and kind of working through it with communities to see, okay, what does this look like in practice? Can you remind us all, if I am hypothetically sitting here at the Kansas State Department of Education and I get a call from a superintendent or a school board member in a community, and they're saying, gosh, okay, we'd really like to start tackling this childcare issue. How might we be able to get connected to the good folks at Child Care Aware of Kansas to be able to help us in this journey, or figure out who else in our community might be doing that? What's the best way for me to get those questions connected with you and your team?
Absolutely. Thanks, Amanda. So the best way to do that is to contact or send them to me at Child Care Aware of Kansas. So right now I'm the contact person for the community outreach and engagement. And then I just ask a couple of questions to whoever you send to me. And then I put them in contact with their community outreach and engagement person. We have community outreach and engagement coaches across the state. We partner with the three local regions, child care resource and referral regions across the state, that are doing the exact same work. And so if they're in one of their regions, I just reach out and make that connection for them. This helps so that we don't have to have them contact somebody to somebody else. We make that direct contact that way.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Panel members were quiet this morning, and I counted very slowly to 10 in my head. So Tanya and Laura, I think that so for contact information of folks who are here, or others, as they have questions or ideas about this work, what's the best way to get connected with you?
Absolutely. They can just contact us at Child Care of Kansas. And I didn't even we didn't put our email on any of the PowerPoint, but we're pretty easy to get a hold of at Child Care Aware Kansas. It's just our Tanya at tanya.kane@ks.childcareaware.org. So, or you can just call our office, they'll get through to us.
Terrific. Yeah, that is usually my go-to, and I very much appreciate it. Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for coming and for showing this tool. And I'm really excited to see the way that that it works in communities, and the way that it really helps communities, like you said, get past that sitting around a table and kind of wrestling with the same questions and really help folks be able to move forward in a productive way. So kudos to you and the team, and may the formulas stay unbroken in the PowerPoint or in the Excel. I appreciate that is that is fun. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Terrific. Well, we are running well ahead of, or we are running ahead of schedule, and that is a good and fine thing. And up next, we have Pam Noble from the Kansas Children's Service League to talk to us about 1-800-CHILDREN. So give me just a second to get my screen back and rearranged. There we go. Did I successfully share the correct screen? Awesome. Go team. Pam C, you knew that you could trust me. Got it covered. Thanks for being here today.
Sorry, I couldn't come off mute for whatever reason. Thanks for having me. Like Amanda said, I am Pam Noble, and I'm the Assistant Director for Prevent Child Abuse Kansas programs at the Kansas Children's Service League. I also have Stephanie Boone lurking somewhere in the audience. She's the supervisor of this project, and she has joined us as well. Caitlin Moore, who's our community engagement and marketing coordinator, who actually created this beautiful PowerPoint that you're going to see, is out of town, so she couldn't join us. Just as a reminder, 1-800-CHILDREN provides 24/7 judgment-free parenting support through the call line, the resource directory, and the mobile app. So we can go to the next page, Amanda. I just have a couple updates for you. We have worked with the Kansas Department for Health and Environment to provide 1-800-CHILDREN promotional materials to all licensed child care providers, both center and home-based. In the next, Kelly Mark is working on it, so it's happening soon. And then each time that providers renew their license, they will also get a reminder about their ability to order from 1-800-CHILDREN and provide that for their parents. We have also worked to add the free lunch programs. KDHE was very helpful in that, giving us that information. So we've worked to add those to the database. The Find Help team is working frantically to get those all updated. So currently there's also what we call a flyout that appears when you open the database, and it allows you to text food or comida and your zip code to 877-877, and it will give you the closest free lunch site for children. We wrapped up our first year-long marketing campaign in May. I have some updated data for you. It was really a fun experience, and it was really great to see it. On the next slide, you can see some of our newer, we're considering this photo as we work to target some different areas. This year, we will do a combination, again, of display advertisements, streaming TV, Spotify, which is internet radio, and Facebook. And then lots of times when you see them on Facebook, they also get pushed onto Instagram. So you might see them on different platforms. It's important to remember that this campaign is very targeted to people with children. They use a variety of demographics, age, search keywords, websites visited to target this campaign. We're also going to look this year at targeting rural versus urban. So we'll have some different images around that. We've been in some discussions with some of our parent leadership groups around the different pictures that we have and the different ideas we have for our campaign. So we're getting some really positive feedback on that. We are hopeful that that new campaign will start July 1. On the next page, you will see some data from this year's campaign. So what this really shows you is those big data spikes are months when we had an active social media campaign happening. And then those consistently small data spikes are when we didn't have a social media campaign, because we went like 2 months on and a month off throughout the year. It was really exciting for us to see how important the social media campaign and the marketing that we did and the influence it had on people just being aware of the database. We garnered a lot of awareness this year. We're working to garner additional engagement in the coming year. And then just a few other reminders on the next page. We also have a quick reference guide for providers that we can email out. And there's also a short video as well that explains how to update your program, claim your program, whatever you might need in the database. And then a few other examples on the next slide. We have a search bar. If you put your zip code into that search bar, it's going to pop up the database and show you what resources serve your zip code. Or we have a hyperlinked graphic, and either one of those can be embedded onto anyone's website. We have found that a lot of the school districts are using the hyperlinked graphic right on their homepage, so that's been kind of exciting. The next slide is just some reminders of what we have with promotional material. We created, in addition to the magnets and the palm cards and the things that you see here, we created palm cards. So they are a smaller version of a family engagement card. They have a QR code that allows you to scan and download the app. And then we were working with the libraries. We started in Southeast Kansas and we have spread since then. And they asked for bookmarks. So we've created bookmarks in Spanish and English that the libraries have been handing out. And Caitlin actually lives in the Kansas City area, and she sent me a picture of a bookmark, of the bookmark she designed that she found at her local library. So that was exciting, and we know that they're getting out there. So this next slide shows you, we worked to design some social media for our partner organizations, and these two are in our file share site right now. Caitlin is very interested in designing some additional ones and is very much open to any suggestions. If you are planning to do a back to school social media push, or however you're planning to do it, some suggestions on what you would like to see and what you would like to have. These are available in the different sizes for the different platforms. We use our file share, and that keeps us out of worrying about email and Dropbox limits. So if you are currently have access to our file share, you still have access, but we are working on redoing our KCSL website. So the URL for the file share has changed. I was going to have Stephanie drop it in the chat box, but I think I heard Amanda say that was disabled. So we'll make sure that you have it available and it can come out in the minutes. If you don't have access to it and you want access to it, Caitlin can give you the contact for that as well. The next page tells you a little bit more about ordering promotional materials. We do have a Microsoft Office form that you can access. Again, there's a link, which I'll make sure that you get since it's not in the chat box. So you can go to that link. You can order any form, or you can order any materials, and then you also have the option to opt into if you want to be part of the file share site. The file share site has the downloadable graphics, the social media materials, the information on how to link you to the search box and all of that. And Stephanie, Caitlin can walk you through any of that as well. If you need additional guidance, I would need additional guidance, which is why I have Caitlin. The other thing you can do today is you can just simply scan that QR code and it will send you to the Microsoft form, and you can order materials. Caitlin worked really hard to get this to be a more streamlined process. So she gets the information. Kim Osborne, who handles all of our community resource library materials, also gets the information, and we have a streamlined process to get the information out to you. So we're kind of really excited. And then the next slide is just the questions, suggestions for social media posts, and how can we support you in your work to support the families that you serve. Once again, we really say that we try to walk alongside the families that you serve, the partners that we have, to provide that support. So let us know your suggestions, your ideas, and we can definitely move forward with those.
Perfect. Thanks, Pam. This is Amanda Peterson, and we so you can feel welcome to go ahead and drop those 2 links into the chat bar so that we can make it easy for people to connect.
Okay.
For folks who are watching along on YouTube, I feel really confident that if you email Stephanie Boone at SBOONE@kcsl.org, that she would be happy to get you those links as well. So we can make that piece nice and easy. So Pam, am I understanding correctly that the piece that needs to be on my to-do list is checking in with my communications team to see if they are thinking about, back to school and social media and reaching out if they have ideas for how we might be able to customize some of those graphics that we saw?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, so sorry, I jumped in there because you had 2 great questions on here. So I'm really curious, everybody, how are we using 1-800-CHILDREN? I think this is a great place for us to be able to brainstorm and share a little bit. And I loved hearing, Kelly, about the work that KDHE is doing to get this into the hands of licensed childcare providers. But how else are we really helping get the word out about 1-800-CHILDREN, and what support might we need? Natalie, go ahead.
So I'll just share that with our preschool aged at risk programs and our Kansas preschool pilot programs, and I believe ECBG as well. One of the requirements to receive the funding for those programs is that your program lists on the 1-800-CHILDREN website, and that you are sharing with your families that resource is available, and that you are updating that every year. And we have had some feedback from some of our districts in particular that were unaware of this, and they're really excited to be sharing this with families. And we're really excited that we have this resource available. So I just want to thank you guys. I also think maybe something to add for my districts coming up in the future would be to just share that they can put that hyperlink graphic that's available. I think that's really cool that they can just add that to their website if they want to for parents. So we're not just reaching the preschool families, but the older ones too.
Thanks, Natalie.
We can tell when grant information has gone out because Caitlin is flooded with, I'm supposed to do this, I don't know how to do this. And she's really good at just, giving them, she gives them very direct and step-by-step information. So it's really kind of fun to see when information hits and the people are responding to it.
Pam, from your all's perspective, is the way that is working right now, is that the most effective way for us to, because we've just been listing Caitlin's email and saying, if you need support for filling this requirement, this is how to get there. But that's not to say that we couldn't instead, link to a Microsoft form or do something else if that would be better for your team's workflow.
Stephanie might be able to speak to that a little more than I can. I think that it's nice to link to a form, it's convenient, but there are a lot of people that need a person. And we always feel that those relationships do matter. And every time we have an opportunity to talk to somebody and not just give them the information, but guide them through it, offer to come to a parent group and do a presentation or anything like that, that's really important. But like I said, Stephanie manages the day-to-day supervision. So Stephanie, if you have anything to add, you're welcome to jump in.
I would say in reference to the grants sub-grantees needing to contact Caitlin. Caitlin and I had kind of talked about some ideas of my gosh, I need another drink of coffee before I start answering questions. We had talked about some ways to make that a little more efficient, and perhaps having, her having virtual office hours or a virtual training that people could attend if they needed kind of that extra support. So I think moving forward, if we looked at maybe doing some of those, that might be more efficient. Since there are quite a few of them that will need the same questions answered, the same kind of support, she would be able to just get everybody on a Zoom call and walk everybody through it all at once, and they could do it right then. So that's those are some ideas that we had talked about kind of moving forward.
I'm hoping too that those calls were slowed down for you guys. I've kind of figured it out on my own how to guide people through that, but also now that they're in there for the first time, they've done it once, and hopefully that'll dwindle down a little bit next year that you guys won't have to do so many of those.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's fine. Caitlin has no problem with helping people. She's really kind, and so she doesn't mind at all helping anybody with those things. She's a really great contact person for them.
Well, and I also wonder, if we have, a cohort or a peer learning opportunity where we're already bringing people together, if there might be opportunities along the way for us to invite and say, okay, we know that all of our, our cohort of school-based family engagement specialists is going to be having quarterly meetings. And so might we be able to invite the team from KCSL to come in, or I believe it would be Caitlin, to come in and present and be on the agenda and answer any questions there where we've already got that. I can't think of a different word for captive audience, where we've already got people who are already there to be able to work through that too.
I think that's a great opportunity.
That's something that I've kind of been thinking through in this next year, is identifying systems and processes that are already in place that we could kind of just tuck 1-800-children in. So that's kind of where that idea for the childcare came from. They already have a system for sending out letters. They already have a contact with childcare providers every year. So we're not trying to create something new. We'll just add 1-800-children to that process that's already in place. And so I think identifying some of those in these other groups, things that are already in place, and we can just, insert 1-800-children in those.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
This is Maritas. I just want to, I looked at your website. I see a lot of wonderful tools that we can share with our families. We do, the Kids Deafblind Project do an annual event with our families, like it's a fun things. And this is something that I think that we can share. Even if it's just looking through the website, because sometimes when we talk about 1-800-children and we say support, it's easier to just go to the website really and look at all the resources that you can find. It's really good and helpful.
And if you need someone to come, Caitlin is available to travel. She can travel and attend if that is helpful to you as well.
I am thinking about that too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Panel members, do we have any other either ideas or questions or things that the team at KCSL could do to make this a little bit easier for you to put into practice? I've got one piece, and I'm hoping that it's really easy. So for this ordering promotional materials piece, gosh, I wanted like the bookmarks and stuff. Yeah. So I'm thinking we'll be sending out our summertime updates out to our school-based administrators next week. And so if we had just like, and I bet that we've got this somewhere, but having that language that we could drop into an email that just says, hey, the Kansas Children's Service League has tons of promotional materials available, things like pens and bookmarks and other pieces that might be helpful as you're doing back to school. And here's the link. You can fill out this Microsoft form to be able to order those. If you'd be able to send those to Natalie, or to send a little blurb like that to Natalie so that we could drop it in, that would be incredibly helpful.
There was one last slide. It just has Caitlin's contact information on it if you want to show it in case anyone is interested or needing that as well.
Perfect. And I will note, I really appreciate that these updates to get slotted into those weekly, the weekly all-in for Kansas Kids newsletters, because a lot of the times we'll just copy and paste that language and insert that into other places. So a huge thank you to you and the team. I know that I know that it's a lot to just keep getting this information out. And when we're able to see that data, right, and see, gosh, you know, here are the thousands of people who are learning about this resource and who are using it. That's really cool in terms of connections that are getting made and families who are accessing resources. So thanks to you both. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Panel members, we suggested a quick meeting today, and so you will not be getting your 10-minute break as scheduled, but I do want to take time to be able to open it up for any bright spots, and Cassandra is actually going to get us started off. So Cassandra, would you like to tell us about Unseen?
Sure. Unseen is a documentary that was done by a family that has a medically complex child, and it chronicles their daily life of caring for their child with medical complexities, their other children. They have 8 total children, trying to work and earn a living, take care of their child with medical complexities, their other children, trying to get services for that child, and just the daily struggles that they have, and the stress that a family goes through, that the parents go through, how it affects their mental health, their physical health, and how, even though, you know, when you're in the community, people see you and acknowledge you, but you actually feel unseen as a parent of a child with disabilities because people don't want to help. And that's where we are as parents of children with special health care needs. We feel isolated because a lot of times we do just isolate ourselves at home so many times. I mean, that is something my husband and I have done. I mean, there are so many times we couldn't take our oldest out anywhere because we didn't know what we would endure with him if something set him off. And if he was just teetering on that edge of being, you know, stable or unstable, we wouldn't leave the house. And we wouldn't go on vacation, or we wouldn't go out to a movie because we didn't know what would happen. He actually, right now, he wanted to do Special Olympics bowling. And because I would have to take him by myself, I had to say no, because his behaviors have gotten to such that I can't take care of that if he went into a meltdown by myself. And I would have to get police intervention. And with him being a 20-year-old, extremely aggressive young man, African-American young man, I am not going to do that by myself. And we are in the process of trying to get him into an ICF facility once he leaves Heart Spring, instead of a regular adult group home through the HCBS services. So it is a powerful video. If you would, I have actually 2 asks. If you would share it with your lists, I would appreciate that. And if you would take the time to watch it, I would ask that you do that as well. You would get a glimpse into what our families experience. There's also a psychologist, I believe she is, that talks about society and how they need to step up and help this population of families. So if you would share it, I would appreciate it, and watch it. I would appreciate that as well. when you email me for the link, there will also be a link for a viewing guide, and it provides a list of resources and also some ideas about how to help special needs families. So I'm open to any questions or any ideas to help special needs families or anything else. But I appreciate the opportunity to share. And I believe this is my last meeting. I appreciate being here for the last 2 years and being a part of this. And so thank you.
Cassandra, thank you for all of the ways that you exercise leadership, including here as a member of this panel. I know that it is very much appreciated, and thank you. So I'm thinking about the ways that we might be able to share the word about this really terrific resource. And it occurs to me that the State Interagency Coordinating Council is meeting this afternoon to do some planning for the year. I can definitely think about some ways that we might be able to spread the word. What are the plans? So my understanding from this is that this is kind of the kickoff weekend, but what happens after this June 16th to June 18th window?
We only have the opportunity to view it for this weekend.
Okay.
If you go to caregiverdoc.com, I believe you can sign up to be notified when there will be other viewings.
Okay.
They had a global premiere in May. They are only viewing it, allowing it to be viewed at certain times. And we are not allowed to share it on social media, the link on social media channels, because it was a free viewing. And there's other agencies and organizations that are either charging or using their viewing opportunity as raising funds through donations as part of their viewing. So I was contractually barred from sharing it on social media, sharing the link on social media. We were able to share this little flyer on social media. So that's why we can't share the link on social media. So that's why I had to do it the way I did. So we were only able to have it for a short period of time. I wish we had it longer, but financially, we just couldn't. And I wish we would have been able to have in-person events around the state. It just wasn't financially feasible. So maybe possibly in the future we could have another event. I'm going to try and talk to the producer. I've got some ideas, and we're going to try to set a time to talk. But she said they are going to try and do a shorter video of it. So I'll keep everybody updated.
Thank you. Maritas, I see that you're off mute, and then Trisha has her hand up.
I do have a question, Cassandra. This is Maritas. Is this only for providers?
I would love it to be shared with anybody. I mean, families, providers, educators, employers. I mean, I would love anybody to be able to see this. On the viewing link, when you get that, there will be a video from me, a welcome video. And then you'll also have the registration button where you can register, and you'll get the actual link to watch the video. So it's for anybody that would like to watch it.
Yeah.
And Trisha.
Do you want us to send out, because I have a listserv for the Part C providers, do you want us to send out a copy of the flyer? Do you want us to send out a copy of the link? Which do you prefer?
You could send the link through email. That would probably be easier, so I'm not getting hundreds of requests for the link, but you could send the link through email. And if you wanted to post something on social media, the flyer would be the one to post on social media.
Any other questions, panel members?
This is Maritas again, Cassandra. I know I can email you, but if in the future, if you are thinking of some events that we can collaborate with you in some ways, let me know. Because I would love to.
I would be honored to do that. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Cassandra, for bringing this today, and thanks to all of you in advance for helping spread the word about this. I have a couple of bright spots, but before I do that, I want to open it up to panel members. Callie, go ahead.
Hey, I'm hoping my voice will last. I'm coming off of a summer cold, so if it cracks, I apologize in advance. I just wanted to lift up, we're wrapping up a project as part of our Family First grant that we titled it Flex Funds. It's been really exciting as we've been working with families when they've come across barriers. They put in a request for us to be able to give them some financial support. Everything from we've arranged for new car engines to be installed to new appliances, gas cards. It's just been really fun and refreshing that as we've been discussing barriers with families, that we've had means and opportunities to really just meet them right where they're at and have a solution that helps them overcome that barrier and move forward, focusing on the rest of the work that we're doing with them. So it's been awesome.
That's terrific, Callie. Thanks for sharing.
This is Maritas again. I just want to share to everybody that we were awarded the 2020, we have an activity called Music and Me. It's a virtual music therapy for young children birth to 5, for kids with developmental disabilities, vision loss, hearing, or deafblindness. And so we were awarded the Council for Exceptional Children. We have been given the DVI-DB Innovative Practice Award recipient. It's a grant that would help us purchase some of our kits to send to families that we will use for our virtual music therapy. So we will start in the fall. We're really excited.
Terrific. Congratulations. Hooray. Funding and grant award happy news is always a great bright spot. So thanks for sharing, Maritas. Any other bright spots to share, panel members? All right, well, I shared that I had 2, and you're gonna forgive me, this is gonna be a little bit meaningful to me. So you all are my bright spot today. As we wrap up our year of the panel and get ready to move into a new year, I think that it's always nice to take an opportunity to reflect and recognize that we get to do really special and really neat work in the state of Kansas, that we're really lucky to be able to do big, meaningful, important work and to get to do it alongside and together with, I'm biased, but really the most incredible group of individuals that I think that we can find anywhere in the state. And when I think about our All In for Kansas Kids strategic plan, and I reflect on the community of people who are working to make sure that it becomes a reality for kids and families, and then when I reflect back on the work that we've had and the conversations that we've had over this last year, I know that is certainly a real bright spot for me, and I think it is for many of you as well. So I really want to say thank you for your service, for coming and for joining us and for bringing your your fullest hearts and your most creative and brilliant thinking and your willingness to try and to ask questions and to figure things out and work things through, because we know that it makes a real difference for the kids and families in Kansas and the people who work really hard to support them. So that is my thank you and my end of the year wrap up. As we were thinking about the order for today, I realized that we have, so the Children's Cabinet met last month or not last month, gosh, it feels like last month, Melissa. Was it last week? Was it 2 weeks ago? The Children's Cabinet has met fairly recently, and they have appointed new membership for this upcoming year that begins on July 1st. You will be getting that notification very, very shortly for our new members, and we also really in a special way want to thank our outgoing members. So rather than so we will be saying thank you to those of you who have put in your time and service here, and who will continue serving the kids and families of Kansas in other ways. And we will, I think, know and remember that this panel can continue to be a place where you do not need to be an appointed member to be able to reach out and say, hey, I've got something that would really benefit from some collaboration with some terrific Kansas early childhood partners. As part of that, so this is also my last meeting as the chair of this group. I am so excited that Cornelia Stevens will be stepping into this role, and she is going to do just the most incredible job with all of you as you continue moving this work forward. So she was really sad that she couldn't make it here today. But I am really looking forward to the continued great work that the panel does, and I would bet that I might still keep occasionally showing up in some meetings, and then certainly if and when we get to have in-person meetings in a little more logistics way, you all are not going to be able to keep me away. So I very much look forward to seeing you in that role. But I do have one last piece of homework because it is 9:59. It is really important that we continue to figure out how we can make this panel and how we can make our broader collaboration work be as effective as it could be. Because at the end of the day, you know, we can all be doing really terrific work, but we've got a lot of partners in the state of Kansas, and we've got a lot of terrific work going on. And so we've got to figure out how we can work together collaboratively really well. And so I really need all of your help. And the reason why, I know that we are all great fans of the annual collaboration survey and this levels of collaboration scale. And I promise you, we do really look at this data and we think about this as we are considering, gosh, how do we effectively structure and organize the work? So please do take 15 minutes to get this filled out. Megan will go ahead and drop the link in the chat bar. So since you've got some additional time blocked off on your calendar, I don't know about all of you, but I'm going to click on this link and I'm going to do this right now so that it doesn't need to linger on my to-do list over the weekend or into next week. And as a reminder, so all current members and all future members will receive a link via email from KUCPPR or in your handy dandy Zoom chat bar. And it's a two-part survey. There is a Likert scale set of questions about collaboration at the beginning, and then there's also a set of questions assessing one-on-one interactions between organizations on the panel. And Chris did send me a note that that made me chuckle a little bit. It is helpful to remember that this is not like a rating of the organization, right? So when you get to Amanda, it's not asking like, okay, do you think on a scale of 1 to 5, what do you think of the Kansas State Department of Education, or what do you think of Amanda? It's thinking about like, okay, how do you work together, and how do we do our work? So take a second to you know, carefully read those instructions. If you've got any questions, feel welcome to reach out to Chris. And I am looking through my my notes from Chris to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Oh, so individual survey results will not be shared. So similarly, please do be honest, and please do know that we absolutely positively promise that nobody is going to look in to see how any individual member rated. Like, don't worry, it is anonymous. Only aggregate results will be seen by panel leadership and by members and by our administrators. The survey should take no more than 15 minutes to complete, and really it is incredibly valuable data, and it really only works if everybody, or if we get a good participation rate. So please do make sure that you do it. And the more that we all get it done on the front end, the fewer follow-up emails we have on the back end to say, hey, please remember to complete the survey. So thanks in advance. Any questions about the levels of collaboration survey? good, because I have shared the grand total of my knowledge about that work. Here are our upcoming meetings. Melissa, I did see that you came off mute. Did you have a piece that you wanted to add before we wrapped up for the day?
Once you're done, Amanda, yes.
Okay, terrific. Well, folks, all of our upcoming meetings are via Zoom. I will highlight that the Children's Cabinet and Trust Fund does have a special meeting that is coming up next Friday, June 24th from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. That is not listed on this slide. So that information will also be on the Children's Cabinet website. And Melissa, I will turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Amanda. I first wanted to take the opportunity to thank panel members for service this year, and those of you for whom this is your second year. All of you contribute to the work of our All In for Kansas Kids strategic plan and play an important role in the improvement that we seek in our system writ large. And a special thank you, Amanda, to you for adding this to your list of responsibilities. You are the director of a division of KSDE, which is no small amount of responsibility. This was new and different work that you took on, and you really the willingness to take on that role of creating something that did not formerly exist. You weren't simply taking the reins of an organization that had established protocols. So it was a big lift, and your insight and input and guidance and leadership is very much appreciated. So I just really wanted to take the chance to make sure that I conveyed that very publicly, that your work has been incredible. We do expect a nice, smooth transition because of your leadership. We're excited to welcome Cornelia into the leadership role, and welcome our new and returning members at the July meeting. And I would just thank the presenters this morning. I appreciate seeing the progress made on all kinds of fronts. So thank you, everyone, and that's it. Enjoy your day.
Terrific. Thanks, everybody. It's been such a joy, and I hope that all of you get to enjoy a really peaceful and relaxing weekend. Take great care.